Hi, I'm Robert Cohen. I'm the franchisee, owner, strategic partner for PrideStaff in Portland, Oregon, and my territory is Portland West. Leaving corporate America is like leaving your safety net. But after 23 years of climbing the ladder, really got to the point where I just did not like the view from the top of the mountain for many, many reasons. But the opportunity to be a business owner and have my own thing and grow it was really important to me. And being able to have a skill set that I felt I could leverage and grow something on my own was really very important to me. And I was really looking for the opportunity to create something that would be mine now and mine forever. Prior to making the decision to open my own business, I was working at General Electric in their medical systems division, where I was a senior vice president and general manager running their North American healthcare IT business. I had, about 400 employees, probably $400 million in revenue. I think we had 5,000 customers that all thought that they were my boss, but it was a very complex, very challenging job. When I decided to leave corporate America, it wasn't very simple. I'm going to go buy a franchise. I was nominally aware of franchises and it was something I was thinking about, but I also did due diligence on local businesses. So I probably looked at 2 or 3 local businesses, went through P&Ls, looked at something to buy. But at the end of the day, really what I wanted was something that had a brand and a strategy already built, and something that I felt that I could take and put my passion into it and grow and be a reflection of that brand. So when I really thought hard about it, I really wanted a group behind me that knew what it took to be successful, had a formula that I knew that if I executed brilliantly to the formula and the strategy, I would be successful. And I knew with nothing else, I know I can execute. So I was really looking for that brand and strategy that would allow me to execute. I've been asked the question, why PrideStaff, so many times, and it's always the same exact answer. And it really starts with, there's that "you had me at hello" line, right? So for me, it was when my first discussion with Paula, it started with quality. It started with a corporate approach that really wasn't about business, it wasn't about numbers, it was about a business that delivered a service and a quality product to satisfy somebody. So when I thought about all the different things I could look at, I chose PrideStaff because PrideStaff focused on quality and satisfying a client with a product or service. There's probably multiple facets that are satisfying about staffing. It's great when you find somebody a job and they're really excited about the job. And it's amazing how excited a forklift driver can get about a job. It's amazing how exciting a project manager can get about a job. So it's really rewarding when I see my team has worked hard with somebody to find the job that they're a good fit for. It's satisfying when my clients, and I don't work primarily with large corporate entities. I work with clients who really value that I'm providing them a service and finding them good people. When the client says to me, that's a great fit for us, when we check in a week later, or 2 weeks later, or a month later, or a year later, and the client goes back and says, that was such a great hire, that's satisfying for me. So for me, that's probably the 2 most satisfying things are that connection of skill set, people with the job and the company that makes sense. I would say that my individual biggest concern was mostly the financial aspect. When I made my decision to do PrideStaff, I recognized that how I would fund it, the funding that was available to me based on the model of staffing was different than others. My biggest concern was how much I was going to go all in and the amount of time it would take me to go cash flow neutral and then begin to be able to provide to my family again. Without doubt, that was my biggest concern, bar none. The reality is that every business model I looked at, there's financial concern, right? Whether it's my money or borrowed money, you still have to make a business work. In this case, there's two pieces. First was the fact that I felt that this model for me, based on my pro forma, my internal rate of return, and my return on investment over both a 3, 5, and 7-year model was a bigger number than the other business I was looking at. So I had the number staring at me saying, thumbs up, do this one. That was the first part. The second part was, again, I felt I had a brand and a model behind me and a team that would help me to be successful. So I felt that I could execute strongly with this. So if I leverage my skills, leverage the team, and execute the model, I felt that I could get over it. And I will tell you that I got to my break-even point faster than I thought I would get to. My cash flow was about where I thought it would be, and at about 2 years into it right now, I've exceeded what I thought I was going to get out of the model. So if someone was thinking about going to this model versus another staffing company model, it's kind of hard for me to comment on that because I didn't look very, very hard at other staffing models. I do know a couple. I know a couple of owners in the local area. I work closely with 2 other franchise models, and we have good, strong working relationships. I would say that the differential that I have here at PrideStaff is a sense of team. It's hard to explain it. I don't feel like I'm just a franchise owner that's out there and the chicken nuggets are coming, bake them and serve them. I feel that I'm part of an entity, a family, and a team. And that's really important. When I talk to some of my colleagues, competitors in the marketplace, I get a sense that they're just getting the chicken nuggets. Competition is an interesting topic. Anyone who's spent any time in the corporate world, in any job, and I was an individual sales contributor, I've been a sales manager, I've been a business unit head, and competition is something we live with. If you don't have competition, you probably don't have a market, is the way I look at it. And those markets that are best and businesses best going after are the ones that probably have the hardest, tightest competition. Now, when I looked at the staffing model in my market, as I did my due diligence, I found a ton of competitors. And given that I knew that PrideStaff had a specific approach to a model based on quality that I understood could be a differentiator, right there I felt comfortable. But the other part that took away from it is because of the size of the competition in my marketplace, it told me I had a vibrant market. And I would tell you that if I look at the companies that are competing with me and where they are when I'm out making sales calls, when I'm developing my business, there is so much business and there's so much opportunity that competition is not even anything I ever think about. I never think of earning business against the competition because there's so much business. I only think about getting my opportunity to do business with a client and then earn their long-term business. And if they're working with another staffing agency, it's a good sign because that probably means there's an opportunity for me to come in and show them what real service, real quality, real opportunity is. And the reality is many of my clients, we share, many of my clients have multiple staffing agencies that they work with. And I have found over time that, with some exceptions, that I've earned the opportunity to go from being just one of the fray to the preferred, to the first phone call. For me, working with the franchise development team, then there was a process I need to validate what I was being told. There's components that you're told in candid and openness. The things that they can't share about revenue numbers was the important part to validate in addition to what I was being told as part of the model. So my approach to validation was to ask Paula for recommended large, recommended small, medium size, types of offices that I could call, have that discussion, and understand their voyage of discovery. I probably talked to, I'm going to say between 5 and 8 owners before making my decision. I talked to some that had been in business for a long time and some that had been in business for a short period of time. And for me, it was just getting data points, understanding there's a lot of difference between experiences. And the other piece in my validation process was really to ask the very direct, very pointed questions about the numbers. You can't be shy to ask, how many people did you have working? How long did it take you to get those people out working? What was your gross margin position? What was your revenue flow like? Ask the hard questions. Not everybody answered them, but some did. And I know when people call me looking to do validation, I'm an open book. There's nothing that I would hide, and I'm very comfortable with sharing that. And I also can talk about the differences in the marketplace. And I know that when I did my validation, what I learned versus my real experiences, they were pretty close. The validation process was really pretty helpful. So, territory was a very important discussion for me as I was making my franchise decision. And I was given a territory as an opportunity to look at that had, I think, 25,000 companies in it with maybe 300,000 plus jobs. And I wanted to look at both companies and jobs and then run like a statistical model on that. I probably have an average size PrideStaff territory. I don't know if it's large or small. It's probably average. I know that a job is done to make sure that it's an appropriate size. If I spent the rest of my life making 5 sales calls a day on new companies, I probably wouldn't get to them all. If I could never ever possibly get to all of the users of staffing agencies in my territory, and there's so much opportunity in every territory that now my business model, what I'm planning at year 2, is how I continue to grow to become a monster office within my territory. I have competition in my territory that is franchise models of a well-known franchise that in that office has 5 times the size of any one PrideStaff franchise that I know. Well, I'm probably exaggerating. Maybe 2 times the size of any PrideStaff franchise I know. But that competitor, that's monster, there's 4 of them in my territory, not 1. And so when I think about that, my opportunity, how poor of a job am I doing if I can't be one of the largest in PrideStaff when my competition, which has 4 offices in my territory, has one that's larger than everything in PrideStaff. So the opportunity is limitless. So there's always different stages, and I had an original business model, second business model, and now I'm in my 3rd generation business model. I originally had thought about opening multiple franchises and offices, multiple territories over time, and I think I've kind of backed off that a little bit. I probably would at some point maybe like to do a second office, but when I look at my geography, when I look at my territory, my current business model is to grow my office the size it is today, to add additional staff and consultants. Then I'm really building a monster office. And when I look at my ability as an individual to grow a business, to grow personal and individual wealth, as I grow my business bigger, then the next step for me is not only having a successful, large PrideStaff franchise with multiple divisions, but to buy the strip mall, where I put my office in the strip mall as part of the businesses in there. Then I've really begun to execute my business model, my vision. I'm a certified veteran-owned business. I serve my time. I've earned the right to do that. I have veterans license plates on my car, so the police are nicer to me. But as a veteran-owned business, it's something that in the community is really important. I have a veteran-owned business logo on my business card, on my email. There are certain companies that I work with that prefer to work with veteran-owned businesses. And as a veteran-owned business, I also am very connected with our veteran community. And as soldiers are rotating off of service, someone they know in the community they can go to. The Oregon National Guard, I work closely with them. The recruiting offices, I'm linked in and networked with the recruiting offices. Sometimes young kids are making a decision, should they go in the Army or Navy, Marines, and sometimes I'll come and the recruiting office say, hey, go talk to Robert, see what he has to say, and I give very open and candid advice. And sometimes I have an opportunity to help them make career decisions and find jobs in the community. But it's great being a veteran. It's great being a veteran in the community, and PrideStaff recognizes that. And in the staffing world, my clients and the people we place are appreciative of that also. First of all, it's a personal choice. And there's nothing that is going to be given to you in any of these businesses. But I would say that if you have a strong belief in yourself and your ability to exceed, then PrideStaff is a good place for you. There's a lot of options. Everybody has to think about that. But you get from PrideStaff what you put in to PrideStaff. And that's probably the most important thought as you go through a decision, as you do that soul searching. If you're willing to go work on a model and work at something to be successful, PrideStaff is a place for you. If you're looking for a place just to hang your head and put your feet up on a desk and watch business come by, PrideStaff's not a good business model for you.